Today we are talking about a topic that affects every married couple, money. We are talking about financial transparency.
Correct.
Where does it start in marriage?
Way before you get married.
How do you balance love and finances? How do you avoid those dreaded money arguments?
I think you owe it to the other person to bring everything to the table by the time they're deciding to commit to you, so that they know, who am I really getting myself involved with, so that they don't feel cheated by the time you're getting into marriage and you're like, what?
And how do you build a financial future together while staying true to your personal goals? Here's a fun or not so fun fact. Studies have shown that finances are one of the top causes of stress in relationships and the leading factor in divorces.
I think it's crucial because finances is among the major reasons as to why people divorce.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of couples have money issues.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Today, we are breaking it down with practical tips and real life stories, and of course, some tough questions for you to ask yourself and your partner. Money can feel like a taboo topic in relationships. Well, we might talk about our favorite vacation destination, which for me, as you all know, is Greece. Whoop, whoop. Or what's for dinner. But when it comes to budgeting, saving, or debt, the conversation just gets rightward awkward. Why is it that way?
Because some people don't marry for the right reasons.
That's true.
And so you're getting into this union with your guards up and with an already exit plan. And that's why you'll find some people will have that huge chunk of money just saved up because it's an exit plan. I am not in this for good. I need to be sure of myself by the time I'm getting out. So really look at the integrity of that relationship before, even as whatever issues you're dealing with, ask yourself, how strong is our foundation?
Well, finances are emotional. They're tied up to our upbringing, our goals, and even our fears. For example, if you grew up in a home where money was tight, you might feel anxious about saving every penny. On the other hand, if you've always had financial security, you might approach money with a spend now, worry later attitude. In marriages, these differences cause a lot of tension, but they can also be an opportunity to grow together. The key is communication and alignment. But let's be honest, this is easier said than done. Hi guys. Welcome back to the Rare View podcast. Kama ke kama kawaida. I am your host Rachel Anita, and today guys, apart from just talking about money, I want to talk about the second thing that is most important after money, love, mapenzi. So how are we going to work around our finances in relationships, and especially, I don't joke about this, marriage. So with me today is a very awesome guest. Mmemwona huko kwa mitandao, and I don't even take away from her shine. Beverly, please salimia watu.
Hi, everybody. This is Beverly Mutindi Chogo. Thank you so much, Anita, for bringing me onto your podcast and to hanging out with the Rare View cast. So nice to be here. You guys have such amazing content.
Thank you.
And I'm really excited to have our conversation.
Thank you. I'm also very honored and humbled that you're here. Asante sana kwa kuitikia wito. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we are going to just dive into it and start with the importance of financial transparency in marriage. How does this look like when people are financially transparent with each other? Where does it start? How do you start this conversation with your partner?
Okay. So before I even answer that question, perhaps to give some grounding as to why I'm here. First of all, I'm a wife. I've been married. We are turning 4 years in just about 2 weeks. And I'd like to say I'm a happy wife.
Vigelegele for you. Vigelegele, guys. Are you seeing what we are fostering here? Happy marriages. Marriage works.
Absolutely, it does. It does. So I am a wife. I'm also a marriage and family therapist in training.
Oh, wow.
And I have a podcast called the In Retrospect KE podcast, where it's about demystifying the things we think we know about marriage. And so we are bringing marriage and knowledge together so that people can be very intentional about creating happy marriages. So that is me. Now to answer your questions.
Ngoja kwanza. Guys, did you hear that? Intentional.
Yeah.
So as we continue this podcast, Mujue, the word is intentionality. There. Continue, my dear.
All right. Please repeat the question. I've forgotten while I was doing my intro.
Yeah. We were talking about financial transparency.
Correct.
Where does it start in marriage?
Way before you get married. It starts way before you get married, while dating. And I think it's very important. If you're having those conversations in marriage, I dare say it's a bit too late.
Okay.
So for anyone out there who's dating, but then again, if you're married and you've never spoken about it, it's not too late. But for those who are dating, please start having those conversations while you're dating. And I think for a lot of people, while you're dating, you really don't think about the implications of what you're seeing and what that would mean for your marriage. So it's really important for you to start thinking about how this relationship will work out, and even in a financial sense of in a financial way, you need to have those conversations with your
partner.
Correct.
Why is financial transparency crucial in a marriage?
I think it's crucial because finances is among the major reasons as to why people divorce.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of couples have money issues, and it's usually because of lack of transparency in the marriage, or lack of transparency where you are financially. And so you want to cover your bases while you're getting married. I usually say that life will throw curveballs at you, ones you saw coming and the ones that you absolutely did not see coming.
Yeah, that's true.
So the ones that you can see coming, how about you cover your base so that you have energy to fight the ones you didn't see coming, right? So if we know that finances is such potentially could be a big problem for a marriage, how about you cover those spaces and build a very sound relationship when it comes to our finances, so that you bring everything to the table. And I think you owe it to the other person to bring everything to the table by the time they're deciding to commit to you, so that they know, who am I really getting myself involved with, so that they don't feel cheated by the time you're getting into marriage and you're like, what?
I didn't know
and
about
now it's
this.
too late. Now it's too late to make any other changes. And the moment you get into that relationship and you get to find out things that you didn't even know about, you will question so many other aspects about that marriage. You'll wonder, can I really trust this person? And this is just at the beginning of your marriage. So that for sure does not promise longevity in that union. So you want to just start on a very honest footing, for the sake of the other person and also for the sake of that relationship. That's why I believe transparency is important. Yeah.
So you mentioned a lot of those curveballs you didn't see coming, and transparency and being truthful. What happens in the case whereby now we are married, we are probably, like in your case, 4 years in, then all of a sudden you realize my spouse has hidden financial information from me. For instance, it can be positive. Let's say they have a huge chunk of money they didn't tell me about, or it can be negative. They're in a huge amount of debt that they didn't tell me about. How are we supposed to navigate that as a married couple?
Well, that's crazy.
Yeah, and sad at the same time.
That's huge, right? And even as I speak in my 4 years of marriage, I do not speak as an expert, and a lot of my thoughts have been informed from a biblical point of view.
Oh, wow.
And so what I'm learning in school, just life experiences, and more so what the Bible talks about in terms of how we handle finances and all of that, right? So by the time you're coming into the relationship and it's either positive, there's too much money, or there's a lot of debt, it still comes back to the issue of trust. And oftentimes you find that finances could be what is presenting to the eye. It could be the symptom that we are seeing, but it's also indicative of far deeper issues in the marriage, that we want to blame finances, but really there are other issues. And so finance is just one. It's just one of the ways in which this monster has decided to bring out its head. So I'd say it's it's more encompassing than that. It's more than the money. And I always say, whatever issue you're facing in the relationship, whatever argument you're having, there's always more than what meets the eye. So even as we are talking about finances, even as we are dealing with whatever issues you're having in your relationship, just take a step back and ask yourself, what's this really about? Mm-hmm. So if you're not open enough to disclose whatever it is that you have, why is that so? Why am I not? What's informing my worldview about money such that I don't want to be open about these things? Do I feel safe in this relationship to disclose? Because some people don't marry for the right reasons.
That's true.
And so you're getting into this union with your guards up and with an already exit plan. And that's why you'll find some people will have that huge chunk of money just saved up because it's an exit plan. I am not in this for good. I need to be sure of myself by the time I'm getting out. So really, really look at the integrity of that relationship before, even as whatever issues you're dealing with. Ask yourself, how strong is our foundation?
I do agree because, like, for relationships in general, I really believe in trust being like the number. I feel like if you can't trust this person with your life, which, as you said, is every other thing, not just money, your health. I always say this. I pick this scenario in my head where I'm probably on my deathbed. I would expect my partner to make the best decision for me. If it's signing the DNR or something. So if you can't trust this person with your life, jiulize unafanya nini hapo.
But like, just to build up on that a bit, is for some reason we have allowed ourselves, or at least we tell ourselves, I trust this person with my life, with my children, but I won't trust them with my bank account. What an oxymoron.
Why is there a boundary there? Because that makes no sense.
Literally
makes no sense.
It doesn't. And it's again, it's either that you really don't fully trust this person, you've maybe lied to yourself that you actually do, or money is an idol to you. Money is that thing that gives you affirmation, that makes you feel accepted, that makes you feel like I am of value in this society. So for a lot of us, money is an idol and we don't even realize it. That's why we are willing to sacrifice everything at the altar of money. So it comes above everything else. Yeah.
That is deep. And that is taking me to another point. Managing different financial styles, like you said. For some people, money is an idol. For some people, it's a comfort zone. For some people, they were raised differently. You see, you can get one person who's raised up maybe from poverty and they've grown up knowing I have to save every penny for a rainy day. Then the other partner is like, me, when I growing up, everything was just cool. Like money is just for enjoyment. When these people get married, what do you think will happen?
There is a concept I learned during premarital, and in fact, I'd like to plug your audience.
Yes.
There's a guy called Ernest Wamboy. I don't know how many of you know him, but Ernest Wamboy usually has free premarital counseling for young people who are working towards marriage. So I'd really recommend you do that. If you're in a serious relationship and you're considering marriage, please sign up for that. I think it would be really useful. So one of the things we learned in the premarital counseling is, one, money means different things to different people, right? So as you've rightly said. And he put them in 4 categories. One, he says that for some people, money is freedom. For the other, money is power. For the other, money is love. And for somebody else, money is security. So for that one who money is security is the one who wants to always, they don't want to be caught off guard by any financial situation. Like, I really want to prepare for a rainy day, right? For the one who money is power, they love the influence that money gives them. They walk into a room and they feel respected.
Everybody acknowledges so and so has walked in.
By how I've dressed, you can tell.
I know.
So one, it's the power. Then it's the freedom. The freedom aspect is you want to have options. You want to have alternatives. You want to get the best thing that you can get out there, right? And for the one money is love, that's how they speak love. That's how they use money for connection, right? So if you're able to identify where you are in all these four areas, and perhaps your partner or spouse is different, for sure they'll be different, of course, like they will be different. But once you're able to understand how both of you navigate money, then you are coming from a point of working together. You know what you're dealing with. So for instance, if, like, my husband is very much a security kind of guy. Like, we if we can plan 5 years in advance, let's have an emergency plan for 5 years, right? I'm more inclined towards freedom. I like to have options, right? I like to have to know that I can do this at this particular time and not feel constrained or limited in any way. But once you understand each other, you can try to meet each other halfway. But instead, without that lack of understanding, you're really fighting each other, and you don't even know what you're fighting, really. Yeah. So money, because of our upbringing, money will mean different things to each individual. So it's really important to come into that marriage or that relationship with an appreciation of, they'll see money differently, I'll see money differently. So the question is, how do we come together? So you can, and being intentional towards finding that middle ground, and not thinking that your way of doing it is better than the other person. Come with humility and say, you know what, my view of money brings in strengths into this union, but also it brings in some weaknesses. That's true. The same thing for the other person. Their view of money has some strengths and some weaknesses. So then how do we come together
for a common goal?
For a common goal, and build that which is unique to us. So again, a lot of people will try to bring what they've seen in their families, but realize this is a different family that we're building. So what we've, if you bring in what your family used to do, I bring in from what my family used to do, will clash.
That's true.
So, like, just be intentional about creating something new. Borrow what you can borrow from your family of origin, and now create whatever, what the newness in your marriage, so that there's minimal clashing and minimal conflict in the union.
I do agree. There's someone who said the family that comes from you should be greater and better than the family you come from. So we continue to refine these things as partners, give each other grace.
That's good.
And like she said, come together and find a middle ground. So you should make a hybrid budget that allows, like in your case, allows for you to have a bit of freedom, but in the same time, make sure his needs are also met. Because if we just incline towards one partner, it brings a lot of resentment and conflict. Yeah.
I agree.
So now that we've gotten people to this point, we need practical tips for couples on how to make money work for them.
Wow. I'd say invest in financial education. That's number one.
Number one. People don't stress that enough, though.
Right.
People don't stress that enough.
I think one of my mantras in life is invest in your marriage the way you invest in your career. And part of investing in your marriage is to invest in your financial knowledge. So, for instance, read a book together, read a financial book together, review it, right? Exchange ideas on what's happening. I'd also say talk to people who you admire. Have a mentor couple, people who actually you admire how they live their life, and be open to have those conversations. Have trusted friends around you where you can exchange ideas. Be like, yeah, how do you guys do this? And if you see that they're doing something good, you can also you get to learn from them. One of the things that there's another plug if you're married. There's a program called Couples and Money. It's a fantastic program which I'd really recommend for people who are married to actually check it out. It will give you a very good perspective of how to handle money, and help you appreciate how your background is influencing your view of money and how you're currently making those decisions. And one of the things that they really recommend in that program is to have a money date. a date specifically where we are just discussing money. And you go to a neutral place, you go to a hotel, not in your bedroom, not in your sitting room, a neutral place. If it's just to have dawa and dawa, that's fine. But we're there to really talk business, and you're looking at finance, you're looking at your budget. How are we doing? You're looking at your investments. How are we doing? You're looking at debt. How much have we covered? How much are we in debt? How long do we have to go? And sometimes one of the jokes that it's given for that particular session is, for women, we like to cry. So we say we are removing, it's not a tissue party.
When you're don't tell guys our secret, please, I beg. The tear, made that point. I always tell my friend, when you're losing an argument with your husband, cry.
No, okay. There's no tissue party here.
You told guys our secret anyway.
So you want to be very sober-minded as you approach this conversation, and then that will really foster transparency. Like, you're really coming in with a common goal of, like, how do we actually do better for our family and towards our common goals. So I'd say that's something very practical that can foster the bond within the union. And the other advantage of actually financial transparency is, as we said, you're coming in with your strengths in the marriage, I'm coming in with a different strength. And so where I'm weak, you're able to lift me up. There's a couple who, when they got married, they were really in debt, really, really, really in debt. And especially the girl. And the girl was she was just baby girling. Like, she didn't understand all these financial principles. So the husband came in and actually really worked hard to clear the debt. Now, that is a good man, yeah?
That's a good man, Savannah. I had to say that.
That's a really good man, but it could have also gone the other way around. It could have also caused a huge constraint on their marriage, right? True. But the beauty here is the man came in with a lot of financial knowledge from his background, and he was able to help the spouse. So when you're confident you're marrying a good person, you can just say, you know what, this is it. Don't necessarily force them to help you, but like you even you as the wife, you're able to help each other in the marriage.
Talking of which, you brought a very interesting point. I have had a case of a friend whereby the lady was like, he's the man, he has to take care of all the bills. If we're going to sleep outside, it's okay. I don't care. My money, that sentence, my money is my money, your money is our money. Yeah. What do you feel about that? Biblically, because they add that part. Biblically, the man is supposed to provide. Well, I don't know if it's in the Bible though, but yeah, biblically, the man is supposed to provide.
And therefore, so if he's supposed to provide, we are supposed to.
I mean, we are baby girls. Come on, we can't suffer. We cannot. When he came, in their own words, when he came looking for me, he knew what he's getting into. He knows the kind of babe I am. He knows where I like to chill. He knows where I like to, he has to, the same way when we were dating, he was doing all those things to please me. When we are married, continue.
That would make me question, why are you getting married?
Because of the money.
No, you see.
The money is giving me. Just say, okay, guys, again, this is not about my marriage or her marriage. It's about general life. Msiende hapo kutag our husbands.
But you know what? Like, you really, I think a lot of people should ask themselves, why are we really getting married? Because if you're getting married for the money, imagine when that money goes. And then, as I said, life will throw you curveballs. Yeah, what happens then? What else is holding us together when this money is not there, right? And that's why you need to be having these conversations early on in the relationship. So get to hear this guy's perspective on money, because there's some people who that similar to that guy, they say, you know what, I want to take care of my wife. Like, my wife does not work
or do anything, does not lift a finger like this.
And while a lot of women would like that, I mean, there's some.
Let's say some. I
know you've had your smart woman money, But let me tell you, actually, there are quite a number of women who would not mind that, right?
Okay.
There are quite a number of women who would not mind. But on the flip side, if you do not have that conversation later on, perhaps now you're a corporate babe, you want to go and get that bag. You get into marriage, this man is telling you can't continue working anymore. I want to take care of everything. What happens then? We always like to look at it in terms of debt. But on the flip side, this person, sometimes men use that taking care of you card as a control,
Card as
weapon.
well.
Yeah. So you also want to have those conversations early on. Try to understand. Try to observe the relationship from an outsider's point of view, and that gives you insight of some of the things that you could be blind to. And then again, the other thing about marriage is what's informing your view of marriage, what's informing your view of finances. If we are clear on how what is informing our view of finances, what is informing our view of marriage, then some of those arguments sort of become less. But also you have clarity on, are we reading from different pages? And that's why, again, have those conversations early on, to avoid future conflict with your spouse.
Oh, wow. What a conversation. What a roller coaster of emotions and everything in between.
Yeah.
Now we are at the end of this. I would like to know if someone is confused about what to take away, because you've given us like a mountain of wisdom. You're very I don't know why I had to do that. So what is that thing or things that someone should, after everything else we've said, they should not forget when it comes to transparency, marriage, and money?
I'd say number one is, again, invest in your financial knowledge. Read books, attend classes, pay for master classes. Really, together. Really equip yourself with knowledge. Really equip yourself with the skills. Another mantra that I live by is that we confuse the familiarity of marriage with knowledge. So because we have seen marriage, we think we know marriage. So I'll try and put it in context.
Need to say that again. For the ladies at the back. For the ladies at the back. Please tell them.
So we confuse familiarity of marriage with the knowledge of marriage. So to put it in context, we confuse the familiarity of money, of getting money, with the knowledge of money. So you want to acquire knowledge on how to invest, on how to budget, on how to do all these things together, so that you can be financially savvy. And especially for women, sometimes we like to take a back seat and let our husbands run everything, right? So when the husband is not there, you almost cannot figure your way out. So try and be an active participant in those conversations. Be accountable to your spouse, be accountable to your partner. And also, you know how the Bible says that the love of money is the root of all evil?
Yeah.
So guard your heart against the love of money. Because when you love money, that's when you start to hide things from your spouse. That's when you start to have those secret accounts. And it's because money has become an idol. So whether, as I said, whether money is freedom for you, whether money is security for you, whether it's love, whether it's power, none of them are a negative thing. But just be aware of where you fall, be aware of your money tendencies, but keep that love for money in check. Keep it in check, because a lot of us sacrifice our relationships for money. We sacrifice our morals and values for money. We sacrifice so many things for money. But then again, money is a bad idol. It won't deliver what it promises. Money sometimes can make us feel like, if I get money, I'll be so happy.
That's such a lie.
If I get money, our marriage will work. And sometimes it is the case that sometimes a couple is going through very hard financial situations, and if you are to bring in that money, it will bring in some financial some relief of the burdens that they're having. But always go beyond what meets the surface, even when it comes to finances.
Okay. Yeah. I do agree. Guys, money can be everything. They say it's not the only thing, but it's the major thing that affects everything that is important. So learning how to work around money with your spouse, it's very important. In this money series, it's not just about improving yourself as a person, but also improving yourselves as a couple.
Right.
So don't forget that. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
I would like you to shout out your Instagram, everything. Guys, go follow her Instagram, her YouTube, everything, please.
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram at Beverly Chogo _ it's B Chogo. And you can also check out some of the conversations that we've had on YouTube at In Retrospect KE. So I've brought different guests. We've spoken about many things. We've spoken, actually, when it comes to money and and especially communication. Communication is like the bedrock of all the other issues that come up, and personality plays a huge role in as far as bringing in making communication hard between couples. So just understanding what your personality is, what my personality is, and trying to work around it to have fruitful conversations. So yeah, we've had a conversation around personalities and how that affects how we show up in our relationships and many other conversations. So please check it out. I'd be happy to engage with you all.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much again, you guys, for always watching, subscribing, commenting. Asanteni sana. And I would love to hear it from you guys. How are your marriages or relationships handling finances? Have any of the things we've talked about actually happened to you guys? I would really love to know this. Thank you so much. And kama kawaida, I love you guys. Bye. Okay.